Hello everyone, this is Andrew again from Crown Academy of English for another English lesson today, and we are going to look at the future tense. So we're going to look at verbs in the future tense, and in particular we are going to look at the form of going to plus a verb. Okay, because in English there are lots of different future tenses. There are about 4 or 5, and this is the first one we are going to look at. So going to plus a verb. Let's get started. So for an example, here we can see somebody is reading a book, and here so we can say in the future, tonight I am going to read a book. Okay, so this is talking about the future, and the person is saying I am going to read a book. Okay, so let's look at this structure in more detail. Let's conjugate the verb. So we say I am going to read, you are going to read, he, she, it is going to read, we are going to read, and they are going to read. Okay, so this is an example of going to, and you should be able to see there is a pattern here. So let's look at this in more detail. So we separate this part out, and we can see that there are in fact 2 parts of the structure. The first part on the left is the present progressive of the verb to go. Okay, so if you do not know what the present progressive is, then I advise you to look at my other lesson. So it's on the screen now here. I have another lesson on explaining what the present progressive is. So it is the present progressive of the verb to go. So I am going, you are going, he, she, it is going, we are going, they are going, and all of them are followed by the word to, and then the verb in the infinitive, so the base verb. So this example is to read. So to summarize, the structure, the form is present progressive of the verb to go plus the infinitive of the verb. So this is, the infinitive means the base verb. So the infinitive is the word to followed by the verb. Okay? And now let's look at the other forms of the structure. So here we have already seen this on the left, so I am not going to explain it again. So this is the affirmative, and the other form we can have is the question form. So let's look at the question form. Am I going to read? Are you going to read? Is he, she, or it going to read? Are we going to read? And are they going to read? So this is just a normal question form. So we reverse the order of the subject I with am. So this is the verb to be. Again, you should watch my lesson on the present progressive if you don't understand this. So am I going is the question form of I am going. And then we always follow it with the infinitive plus the verb, the infinitive form of the verb. So, are you going to read? And finally, let's look at the negative form. I am not going to read. You are not going to read. He, she, it is not going to read. We are not going to read. And they are not going to read. So the important word here is the word not. So in the negative, we add the word not in between the verb to be here and the word going. So going is the present progressive of the verb to go. So everywhere on all of these we add the word not, 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 and not. Okay, so we have the affirmative, the question, and the negative. Now let's look at some uses of going to. So the first main use is an action in the future that has been planned or prepared. So it is a future tense, and we use it to describe something that is going to happen in the future, and we have planned it, or it is prepared, so we know it is going to happen. Let's look at some examples. Example 1. I am going to buy a car next week. So this is planned. Okay, we know we are going to buy a car. It's next week. And so we say, I am going to buy a car next week. So it's prepared. We know it's going to happen. So we use going to. So this is going to, and this is the verb, to buy. Example 2. Tomorrow we are going to visit London. So tomorrow is in the future, and we are going to visit London. So going, we are going, and then we have to visit. So this is the verb in the infinitive form, to visit. And the last example is after lunch. After lunch, he is going to call Mr. Brown. So he is going. This is the going part. And then it is followed by the verb in the infinitive. He is going to call. So to call is the verb. Mr. Brown. So after lunch, lunch is when we eat during the day. So this is indicating that it is in the future. So again, all of these examples are actions which are planned or prepared. All right, so we know they are going to happen. Let's look at another use of going to. So another use is a conclusion of something in the immediate future. Okay, so we can also call this an expectation. So based on something in the present, so there is a situation in the present, and from that we know what is going to happen in the future. Example. There are lots of clouds in the sky. It is going to rain. So the first part of the sentence shows the present. So in the present, right now, we can see there are lots of clouds in the sky. So because of that, in the future, we know that it is going to rain. So that is what I mean when I talk about a conclusion, okay? An expectation. It is expected that it is going to rain. So because of this situation in the present, we know in the future that it is going to rain. So we use the future tense. We use going to rain. So going plus the verb in the infinitive. So another example. David missed the bus. He is going to be late. So David here, he woke up late. He woke up and he missed the bus. He was late for the bus. So because of this, then the conclusion is this. So the conclusion is he is going to be late. So he is going is the going part of the structure. And then the verb is to be. So he is going to be. So this is the infinitive of the verb to be. Going to be late. Okay, so that is the two uses of this future tense. Okay. Now, we are going to look now at an informal version of this. So native speakers, native English speakers, so people like myself or other people who live in England or in America or Canada or anywhere where they are native English speakers, we often say gonna. Okay? You probably hear it a lot in films, movies, on television, or if you know somebody who is a native English speaker, you will hear them say the word gonna. And let's have an example. So, I am thirsty. I'm gonna have a drink. So this you often hear being said by native speakers. And this is the same as I'm thirsty, I am going to have a drink. So these two sentences here, they have the same meaning. Okay? So gonna is the same as going to. So this is what has changed. Gonna has replaced going to. And the reason people say gonna is because when they are speaking quickly, it is easier to say gonna than going to. Okay, going to is quite long to say. So when native speakers are speaking quickly, they say I'm gonna. Okay, but important. Okay, be careful, because gonna is not good English. Okay, this is important. Okay, it is not good English. It is very informal. Okay, so people often say it in an informal context. For example, young people speaking with other young people, or speaking to somebody in the street. Okay, but you would never say this, for example, in a job interview. If you had a job interview and somebody was saying gonna, then it's not very good. Okay, so it is informal, used in informal English, and it's usually only spoken English. Okay, you should not write it. Do not write gonna. Okay, that would be bad if you were writing a letter to somebody, for example. You should never write the word gonna. Okay, the only time you would write it would be if you are quoting somebody. So if you are writing direct speech, but most of the time you should never write the word gonna. But I have to say it is very common. All right, you are going to hear it a lot. Okay, if you watch any television, American television or British television, then you will hear the word gonna a lot. Okay, so it is bad English, but it is important that I explain it to you, because you will hear it a lot, so you need to understand it. Okay, so now you know, if you hear the word gonna, the person is actually saying going to. Okay, so it's very informal, it's bad English, but you will hear it a lot. It is used a lot in English, okay, by native speakers. Okay, so let's do some exercises. So the first one, I would like you to put the verbs in brackets in the correct form using going to. Example. So this is the question. And for all of these exercises, the verb in brackets, so these are the brackets, I want you to put this verb into the going to form. So the answer here would be, she is going to wear her blue dress at the party. Okay, so now I will give you the question and you will get 10 seconds to answer it. So if you need more than 10 seconds, then you should pause the video. Okay, so you'll get 10 seconds. Question 1. And the answer is, I am going to help my sister tomorrow. Question 2. Sarah is going to cook my favorite meal tonight. Question 3. And the answer is, my parents are going to sell their house next year. So my parents, so this is plural, my parents. And so we use the third person plural, my parents are going. And then the verb is sell. So we put it in the infinitive. My parents are going to sell their house next year. Okay? Now let's just have a quick look at some vocabulary that we have used. So a house, so this is a house here on the photograph. A house is where people live. It's a building where people live. And on this particular house, we can see this part of the house here. This is the roof. So the top of the house is the roof. And on this roof, we can see there is some snow. In fact, this is some white snow on the roof. And here, this is a chimney. The chimney is where the smoke comes out if there is a fire. Exercise 2. So this time, similar exercise. Put the verbs in brackets in the correct question form. So this time I want you to make some questions. So I want you to make some questions using the verb where, for example, using the verb where and he. Okay, so this is the question. And the answer for this one would be, is he going to wear his red tie? Is he going to wear his red tie? So remember the rules for making the question. We reverse the subject with the verb to be, and then it is going to wear. Okay, same again. You'll get 10 seconds for each question, starting now. Question 1. So the answer is, are you going to clean the bathroom later? Question 2. Is John going to watch the football tonight? Question 3. Are we going to visit Buckingham Palace tomorrow? So are we going to visit Buckingham Palace tomorrow? Okay, so those are the answers. That is how we make questions using going to. Now let's look at some vocabulary. So what is Buckingham Palace? Well, first of all we will look at red tie. So this is a tie. Okay, this is a tie. It is something that a man wears on his shirt. So if a man wears a suit and a shirt, then he will wear a tie as well. So it's this here. Now, Buckingham Palace. What is Buckingham Palace? Well, this is it. It is a very famous palace, a very famous building in London, and it is where the Queen of England lives. Okay, so Queen Elizabeth II lives in Buckingham Palace. Okay, and you can see on the roof, so on the top of Buckingham Palace, there is a flag. Okay, can you see the flag on the roof? Well, the flag is there when the Queen is there. So if the flag is raised, then that means the Queen of England is present. It means she is currently inside Buckingham Palace. Okay? So if the flag is not there, if you cannot see the flag, it means that the Queen of England is not inside Buckingham Palace. Okay, that was just a little story for you. It's a true story. It's a fact. And the third exercise, the same exercise, but this time I want you to put the verb in brackets in the negative. The negative. Example. So for this one, I want you to put the verb sing. I want you to put it in the negative using the verb going to. So the answer for this one would be, she is not going to sing at the concert on Friday. She is not going to sing at the concert on Friday. Okay, same again, 10 seconds for each question. Question 1. I am not going to be rude to my teacher. I am not going to be rude to my teacher. Okay. Rude means it is the opposite of polite. The opposite of polite. Question 2. We are not going to play football after work. Question 3. They are not going to eat too much tomorrow. Okay, so that is the end. Just very quickly, we can see that so the answer, when we do the negative, it is the word not that is important. So we put the word not between the verb to be and the word going. So they are not going to eat too much tomorrow. So this is the verb in the infinitive form, to eat. And here, let's look at some vocabulary. So let's look at the word sing. So this is to sing. So to sing is, well, it's somebody who is making music. So we say that they are singing a song. So she is singing a song. And here in her hand, she is holding a microphone. So she is holding a microphone. Okay, so that is the end of the lesson. So if you enjoyed the lesson and you like the lesson and you would like to watch more of my videos, then please subscribe to my channel by clicking here on the screen. Okay, and here are a suggestion of perhaps 2 other videos that you might enjoy. So here on the left, this is a video about the present continuous tense. So if you aren't too sure about how to use the present continuous tense, then you can click here and watch that video. And here on the right, this is a vocabulary lesson, and it is words about taking the train. So this is like a video lesson, and it gives you lots and lots of words about trains and stations. So you can click here as well if you want to watch that video. Okay, so that is the end of the lesson. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Andrew at Crown Academy of English. Thanks very much, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.